What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about this fucking Trump 2028. I mean, it is back all up in the media. Not that it really has ever stopped being like thought about. I mean, honestly, it's something that is a concern. I think for people that think like me, that are of the opinion that I am of this administration. Which is a lot of America, and even I think that is even concerning of probably some Republicans, honestly, at this point. Um, I've so I just came from outside, um, and it is cold in Mississippi. So it's the reason why I've got this on, because I'm still cold. I want to check my mail. It's like 50 degrees or something like that, or maybe not even that. Um, but the wind and the moisture in the air is making it feel like 45. So that's cold for Mississippi. Anyway, all right, sorry, I'm getting away from myself here. Trump 2028. This is something I've talked about before, and and then I talked about, look, when I pointed out his merchandise that we've shown before, the Trump 2028 hats, the little mug Uzis or whatever the fuck you call them things, and shirts, and this. We've talked about this, and he has mentioned this over and over and over again in campaign. I mean, we're talking about way before he was even president. This has been a concern that once he got into the presidency, that he or his minions around him, or the MAGA Project 2025, the whole apparatus that is behind Trump, would find some kind of way to make an argument, little by little, to persuade his followers that this is a possibility, or that even if they don't think it's a possibility, that it's something that should change. It's something that should be considered. Something that, we should take mind in, that, well, if a person's right, and if a person is good for the country, then we should allow them to stay in power as long as possible, so that they can make all the changes and all the good things that they could possibly make. I mean, I've even seen this made as an argument for FDR before. That, well, y'all had y'all's chance. Y'all had, the left wing had FDR, and he was able to do 4 terms. So why can't we have somebody that does 3 or 4 terms or whatever? But that was the point. That was the whole push then, to put term limits. And while there were aspects of FDR that I agreed with and I thought were good, there was parts of FDR that I didn't like too. But the social social democratic ways, the progressive ways of him, and how he dealt with the economy, and how he dealt with boosting the American people, that's kind of sensibility I was behind, and that mentality has progressed throughout the years over the and that's fine. But I also see and understand the impact of someone taking control and staying in that control. I mean, the whole point of the United States was that we separated ourselves from the monarchical architect that was of Europe, and what we did not want at the time. We did not agree with that over abundance of power being wielded on a whole entire society. So the idea was to have a changing leadership constantly. Okay. Now, if that leadership needed to be of the same mind, fine. If we voted in the same, if we were moving in a direction, we were putting in the same type of people, that's fine. That we're moving the nation in a direction that the entire nation, or at least the majority of the nation, wanted, fine. But there was to be a revolving door. And because of FDR, that's the reason why that was put into place. That's not to say anything bad about FDR. It was just that when there was such a collective that molded around the idea of a president holding office for that amount of time, the idea that could happen again, and maybe even to a broader sense, was against the foundations of this country. So it was put into place because it never had put into place before. I think more or less because there was just this expectancy that it would move, that wouldn't happen. That it was just foundational, and there was kind of like a understood thing. But because of the war and the efforts after the war, people felt like keeping somebody in power that was actually, helping us through it and doing the things that were needed for the country to come out of that, they continue to put forth the votes and the support for FDR to continue into 3 and 4 terms. But we saw a problem with that, especially if it wound up in the hands of somebody who had the opinion to regress the country backwards, much like we're seeing right now. So, to make the argument, you're that, oh, you got to do it, so we should be able to do it, is damaging to the whole idea. So for starters, right off the bat, that shouldn't happen. All right. It goes against what we agreed to in the beginning, goes against what we agreed to after FDR, to solidify that agreement. And it shouldn't happen now. I don't care how great you might think Trump is and how great you might think he is for the country. Not everybody agrees. And that revolving door should continue. And it shouldn't be forced that he remains in any kind of form or fashion. But he has been humoring and playing with this, and people claim, oh, it's just a troll. He's just trolling you. It's just a joke, He likes to own y'all, so, this is all he's doing, man. He's just totally owning you, man. And you just don't get it. You don't get it. This is fucking 4G chess, man. It's 4G. We've known everything about Trump that starts as a troll, winds up being something that he actually eventually acts on. He finds some way, oh, that's funny. Can I do that? Is that possible? Oh, can we get somebody on that? If it's not, then cool. But I get it. But can we? Can I stay? I really like this. It's making me a lot of money, and yeah, get my name on some shit. I making some deals. If we can figure something out on that, let's do it. And so we've seen here lately, this has popped back up. Steve Bannon I know. Steve fucking Bannon, that whack ass job. Former strategist for the first, administration, and to some degree has been kind of shunned somewhat in some Republican, circles, even around Trump circles. But he still holds dear. He still holds dear. He still has a huge platform, and he still has a lot of people following him. Even if he has fallen off the pedestal that he once was, he still has a following and a group of Trump supporters, MAGA, that still holds dear to him. And though he's been doing this for a while, for at least 6 months or so, he has been talking and spewing about plans for Trump to stay in power. But recently here he had a interview with like the Examiner or something like that, where he again is emphasizing and like doubling down over and over again. He is going to be president. Trump will be going for presidency in 28. He will become president, and he will continue his, objectives for another term. And like this is not even a question. Like there's not even a concern or worry that it won't happen. That's what's been really key on that. Like, not that like, oh, he's going to go for president and, if we vote him in, then, there you go. No, it is not only is he going for president, he is going to be president. Definitive, no doubts about it. And even when questioned about the Constitution, he states, well, we have teams on it, and we're looking at all directions, and we're there's avenues that we think can work. And there have been different plans laid out, the whole JD Vance going for president, pulling Trump as a vice president, and then he just lays down like the little bitch he is, and Trump becomes president, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and they've been grooming the fuck out of that guy to become Trump's successor, for him to just lay over like a bitch, and that kind of would ruin. You would think anyways that ruin, but maybe I'm thinking backwards here. Maybe in the eyes of Trump supporters, that would make him a true fucking patriot and would solidify them in the future of JD Vance to, once Trump can't Trump anymore, he would become the next in line, because he sacrificed himself for the greater good of America to allow Trump to become president once again. That would be the backwards, bat ass shit, crazy opinion or thought process of someone behind that. And then there's the possible chain of like, if we were to make him secretary or some shit like that, the chain in which, the succession of who would assume the presidency if others stepped down, that doesn't make a lot of sense either. That would like, there's just a lot of inconsistency for that. It doesn't make for a strong man for Trump to retain presidency by becoming it after 3 or 4 people, denied it, and he just happens to get it because he's the secretary of whatever. Or just straight up denialism. The straight up denial of election, or going to war and using wartime, rhetoric to abstain an election or prevent an election from happening until the wartime is over. There's several different, things that have been hypothesized about that. But if you think, well, Steve, like I said, Steve Bannon's crazy. Who gives a fuck what he says? It's not going to happen. That's just jokes. It's all jokes. Nothing's going to happen. Just, y'all are just being panicking. He's not really going to be president again. And he has no aspirations for that. He has no opinion for that. But when asked about Bannon, for one, he acts like he's never thought about it. Oh, I've never thought about being president again. I've just said it a fucking 100 times, but I haven't thought about it. But I mean, look at my poll numbers. I mean, I'm doing good in the polls. So, I mean, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they want to vote me back in, bro? You know what I mean? Although his polls are not what he thinks his polls are. His polls actually show the exact opposite. Okay? People do not have great opinions of the Trump presidency right now. His polls on damn near everything are rock bottom. The opinion polls of Trump in his second presidency is the worst opinion polls of any president. And the only one that is and the next worst was himself in his first term. When it comes to the economy, amongst many other things. He's lying about his polling. He's lying about what the American people want. He's lying about fucking everything. He lives in a completely different world. But he's doing that because he knows that his supporters believe him 100%. I mean, we had that, study done, a year ago or so now, during the campaign, where people stated that they believed Donald Trump over every fucking one. That his deepest supporters believed him over their own family members, over any other politician, over their own fucking pastors and priests. Their own, Trump was number one. The number one truth teller in the nation. And they continue to prove that over and over and over again. Supporting and defending all the atrocities that this administration has done. Making light and joking about everything that those that, are of a different mind, that don't agree, protesting, that, they're just making light of it and joking, you're so funny. Oh, no, he's not no kings. Woohoo, he's not a king. Y'all are crazy. Y'all are just batshit. Y'all are crazy. While this administration is actively putting people in place who were election deniers in 2020, like crazy election deniers, putting them in positions in the administration, in agencies and stuff, that are in direct connection with election processes. While this administration has attempted to try to get voter election rolls and data information from states, at least 30 states, going for all 50, where even Republican states like South Carolina, judge ruling that they were not going to turn over election data information that was state information, state records, state, legal records to the federal government. In which afterwards, Steve Bannon attacked this judge. And coincidentally, days later, this judge was attacked. Her home, his home, whichever one, I can't remember if it's him or her, but their home was burned, if I'm not mistaken. Just because, they weren't going to adhere. And then, of course, there's the gerrymandering that's going on. Multiple states now, Republican states, have given and drawn new, district lines. And it is becoming overwhelmingly obvious that the lines are stringently Republican, making it to where the House would have to, Democrats would have to have at least a 5% or more win in election in the midterm elections in order to gain any kind of seats. I mean, this is like a 5% surplus. So they're trying to gerrymander districts like crazy to strengthen the Republican control within districts and states, make it harder for Democrats to win, putting people in place, even all the executive orders that Trump has put out against voting, against the voting machines, trying to put into strict rules and stuff around the voting machines that none of them adhere to, that they can't adhere to. Not to mention, Dominion is now owned by a far right Republican CEO that is changing the name and everything, and in full control. An election denying MAGA-like Republican is now in control and ownership of Dominion and the Dominion voting machines. Oh, well, isn't that fucking convenient? And Trump touting here in a post the other day, once again, about Democrats trying to rig the elections, and that Republicans need to wake up. No early voting, no mail-in ballots, voter ID. They are going to attempt to subvert any way they possibly can and try to make voting swing in their direction as much as they possibly can, so that they can put in place a mechanism, a system in which there is unchallengeable, like, control of the House and the Senate, and eventually the presidency. That there be no way of voting out Republican control, because they have rigged it to the point where Democrats or anybody that doesn't agree with the leadership can vote them out because the votes aren't there. I mean, Trump, remember we talked about how Trump talked to that Christian institution or whatever before, stating, "I just need your votes one time and then you won't have to vote again." Even the other day, talking about the shutdown, him stating that they were using the shutdown to eliminate Democrat programs, whatever the fuck that means. Eliminating Democrat programs that more than likely will never come back. How can the fuck you guarantee that they're never going to come back? Even if you do eliminate them, you're saying that they're never going to. He said they never will come back. How the fuck are you going to control that they will never come back? Unless you are insinuating that Republicans, because that's what he stated, these are Democratic programs that Republicans do not agree with, and that's the reason why they're trying to remove them, and they're getting rid of them, and keeping Republican programs because we agree with Republican programs, and that these Democratic programs are not going to come back. And that, to me, insinuates that you believe that Republicans will remain in control indefinitely. Otherwise, how could you fucking make that mistake? How could you make that statement? It's if it's not fucking obvious what's happening, if you are going to turn a blind eye or just pretend or throw it away as just like some trolling or some like, I mean, yeah, they're saying some shit, but like, it's not going to happen. They know they can't do it. It's just they're just fucking with us. Yeah, that's what we thought before. When we thought there was no fucking possible way that Trump was ever going to get into office before, I'd be goddamned if he didn't anyways. No king's my ass. They are trying to make him stay. They are trying to make it not only that he gets to stay and carry for as long as possible, but that even after he can't be in power, that they will remain in power no matter what. Even putting out AI generated videos, acting like Trump in every fucking 4-year term, 28, 32, 38, 42, whatever, as if it's never going to end. It will always be Trump. And while we know, reality, he can't, he ain't going to live that long. But the idea is that the Trump train, the MAGA, the Trump movement, everything that he is putting into place is going to be America going forward. that this will be Trump's America even after he is fucking gone. That's the fucking point. It's a troll, maybe, but there's truth behind, or there's initiative behind the trolling. The owning you, the owning the lib. I mean, like we talked about in the video the other day, why would he be building a massive ballroom that's not expected to be done until he's leaving the fucking White House? Unless he thinks that he's going to get to enjoy it. There's a plan. There is most certainly a plan. And they are doing everything they can. I start to say under the radar, but it's not even so much even fucking under the radar. It's damn near blatantly in front of your face. And some people are either denying that it's happening, think that there's no way it can happen, or are actively fucking okay with it. And again, MAGA. Fucking MAGA. Do you really want to go down this path? Do you really want to go down this extremity of trying to force and subjugate, like, subvert laws, subvert the Constitution, subvert things that we've established and put in place, just so you can get your way as long as you possibly can? And not think that karma is going to come back and bite you in your ass. And then you're getting mad that lefties are fucking saying stuff that is hurting you weedy beady feelings. And you can't believe they're being so aggressive with their rhetoric. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you would say that you're happy that somebody's gone, or that you would be glad when somebody's gone, or that or that, you know, or whatever, that if it come to violence, it might have to be. You are the ones that have created this. You've created this dynamic. You have allowed Trump to create this dynamic. When before the idea was unity, before the idea was, yes, we have disagreements, but we work together to get things and create laws and processes and stuff that helps everyone as a whole move forward. Even if we disagree with each other, we put stuff in place that helps you, helps this, helps that. We move everybody forward. That should be what's happening. But instead, you've got somebody in place who is creating complete division, who is basically giving an FU to every fucking body that opposes him. Without any apologies. Doesn't give a flying fuck. And does whatever he wants. Whether you like it or not. Whether even his own fucking supporters like it or not. Because at this point, he's the one in control. What he goes. Even though he has waved off a lot of his base, and those of which who were at least somewhat smart enough to realize it, have flipped while others continue to walk blindly with them. He's our guy. Trump is single-handedly destroying American politics. He's single-handedly destroying the American fabric of unity. And empowering the most extremes of our society. And if you were a part of this trolling, this joke of Trump 2028, that, we mean, but not really. We would like it, but, we don't really mean it, but we still would like it. If we could pull it off. If you were part of it, you are helping destroy the foundations of this country. You're not helping America. You are a part of the problem. If you don't like that, I don't care. How about that? Let me know what you think. Thank you very much. Peace. ClearTalk. With love. Because even if I don't agree with you, even if you are the hardest core MAGA crazy out there, I still would like to see you gain a better understanding. I would still like to see you get proper assistance, to have access to proper and efficient health care, quality education. I would like to see you get quality wages, to be able to have a quality way of life. I would like to see you come up, just like I would like to see all of America come up. Even though you are actively applauding and supporting and bolstering a maniacal, narcissistic, Nepo baby maniac, billionaire, sexual assaulter, convicted felon, who protects criminals, much like him. Who is right now holding the highest office in this country. Thank you very much for joining me the next time. Again, peace. I'm out.